Hi everyone, my name is Lydia and this is what I wish they taught me about econometrics and introduction. In the previous videos, we've introduced the interaction variable, which is the product of two variables, and we started with the most simple model, which is that with two dummy variables. So the model that we came up with was y equals to beta 0 plus beta 1 d1 plus beta 2 d2 plus beta 3 d1 times d2 plus an error term. And the interaction term was d1 times d2 in here, and the coefficient that we were very interested in was this b3 because it gave us what was the effect of d1 that depended also on d2. Now, there is one mistake students make with interaction terms, and it's very easy to make this, especially when you think about how you have to apply this model into your software. So most of the times, this misconception comes because of how you have to do it in specific softwares out there. So let's make sure that you never fall into this mistake. Suppose that this is the model that you're starting off. The mistake is that a lot of the students just go directly into y being equal to beta 0 plus beta 3 d1 times d2 plus an error term. So the mistake that they do is not including these two terms here, b1, d1, b2, d2. And most of the times there is this justification, again, built on a misconception that you do not include D1 and D2 because they are dummies. So if you include both the dummies and the interaction term, then you have fallen into a dummy variable trap. However, that is not the case, okay? So the thing is, while this model is looking quite okay and reasonable because you have included the interaction terms, something is missing. This should be the correct model that you use, and D1 and D2 have to appear by their own as well. These are usually called also constituent terms, and think of it this way. The interaction term D1 times D2 is built from D1 and D2, right? So if you include the product, you must also include the building blocks for it. So when you are omitting D1 and D2, you are implicitly forcing, so in this case, what you're doing is you're forcing B1 to be 0 and B2 also to be 0. However, this is a very strong restriction you're making, and you haven't even tested it. In other words, what you're trying to do is to answer a question that the data should be answering for you. So whenever you include an interaction term, always include all of the constituent terms. So, and it doesn't matter if we're looking into the dummy times dummy, dummy times continuous, or continuous time continuous case, the rule will always be that you have to include the interaction term as well as the term that this interaction is built upon. Okay? So always include the individual terms. One of the reasons, especially for Stata users, why this misconception might be is because in Stata, you have two ways of including an interaction term. The first method is by creating the new variable, which is the interaction variable, so d1 times d2. And the second method is the double hashtag method. In the double hashtag method, when you use the syntax of Stata, you do not include the single variables, so the d1 and d2 separately, but you're adding like d1, double diasis here, d2, because that's how Stata syntax works. So most of the time students forget about the fact that when you're actually writing the model, you have to write it like this, because this syntax in here is running exactly this model, not this model. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.